Now I'm going to show you how you can release your ITB, your iliotibial band. And having a tight ITB can be one of the contributing causes to pain in your knee, sometimes called runner's knee. Runner's knee itself is actually quite a broad term referring to any pain in the knee associated with running. So if you are getting any pain, then it's best to get it checked out by a health professional just to find out exactly what is causing it. We've already covered stretching the quads, and tight quads is another cause of runner's knee or another symptom of runner's knee. So always stretch out your quads. But with the ITB, you can stretch it out either using a foam roller, so if you have one of these, then have that to hand, or if you don't, then just get a tennis ball, and I'll now show you the two ways that you can do that. So let's release the ITB using the foam roller. I've got quite a wide one here, but if you've got a smaller one, then that will work just as nicely. I'm going to stretch out or release my right ITB, but just to quickly remind you where the ITB is, and I'll show you on the left side, you're going to be rolling from the top of your thigh, where your hip socket is, all the way down to the knee and just below the knee, okay? So let's do the right side. So I've got my foam roller next to my right hip, and I come on to the roller onto my right side. I'm going to put my left leg over my right leg. So my right leg is just straight, and I'm going to pivot myself from my left foot and my right arm, which is behind me. I can put my left arm down if I want, but I don't have to. And I'm now going to just roll myself up and down. So I'm going to just doing the top part to begin with, and I'm rolling from the top of my hip all the way on the outside of my thigh. Now, if your ITB is particularly tight, this is extremely painful, I warn you, but it is also extremely effective. And when you have an tight ITB, it really has a very strong pulling effect on the knee and can cause a lot of problems. So it is really worthwhile doing this. So then if I want to go a little bit further down, so I've done the top part of my ITB now, I just start a little bit lower. So I get myself on the outside, a little bit lower down, again pivoting myself with my left foot on top, and I now can go do the next bit further down, and I can get right on above the knee, and I just roll. So the first time you do this, if it's very tight, literally only do it for about 15 seconds, and then just keep doing it, and you'll be amazed at how quickly it will release. It's an extremely effective treatment. And then if I want to go a bit further down, I just start further down, and I'm just rolling. There we go. So as brutal as that feels sometimes, it is definitely worth it and can really help the knee. So in the absence of a foam roller, then just get a tennis ball. It's not quite as effective, but it's certainly better than nothing. And you can just literally press into the different areas on the outside of your thigh. You want to be going across that band. Remember, it's a band that runs all the way down the outside. So you can just circle over it or just go across it. If you want to go against a wall, you can just do one section at a time, and you can just get a bit more pressure there, and you just roll there, and then you can just move it down and roll across it, and then move it down until you've just covered the whole ITB. And also don't forget around the bottom of the knee, because that's where it attaches, and you get quite a good result if you really work. You can really feel it actually. It's sort of, you know exactly when you've got the right spot. So use the tennis ball as well. Another good use of the tennis ball is to give your feet a massage, which is good for everyone, in fact. And if you do a lot of running or walking, then it's good to do it every so often. So there's no rocket science attached to this. Just get your tennis ball and just massage your foot. I like a tennis ball rather than a golf ball. I know some people recommend a golf ball, but I think a tennis ball is a little bit kinder to the feet. And also it's much easier for you to adapt your pressure. So if you find a particularly painful spot, you don't have to press quite so hard. But work around all the different parts of the feet, the different arches of the feet, and you only need to do about 2 minutes per foot, and the result actually is incredible. You really feel your feet are completely lighter, and it's very good for releasing all the fascia within the feet. And that's all there is to it. Really simple, and you can do it anytime and anywhere. And also, when you've done one foot, just before you start the other, just take just a moment just to really notice how different that foot feels. You'll be astounded. Shin splints refers to pain that you get after you've been running for any particular distance along the front of your shin. And it usually comes about if you've upped the amount that you're running, suddenly increased the amount that you're running, or you start running on very hard surfaces, which obviously you need to go and see somebody about how you're training if you're getting this. But two ways I'm going to show you can actually help relieve that yourself. The first is actually giving yourself a bit of a massage. So you just need to get any kind of cream, body cream, or even just any kind of oil, and you get on between where the muscle attaches onto your shin bone. So you can feel the shin bone, and then you yourself just massage right on the edge of that bone. Now you can do it along the front of this bone here, and you really can press this bone away. It's really what happens is the lining to the muscle can get slightly inflamed, or the lining to the bone sometimes can get slightly inflamed, and where the muscle and the bone meet can be very tender. So you just gently massaging it into that will really help release that. Also, you can do it on the other side of the bone here, on the back, more on the sort of back calf muscle. And again, this can be very painful, but gentle massage is very, very effective. And you can do this after you've had a shower or bath and if you're rubbing any cream on, and you can just really, any area that you feel particularly tight, just gently ease it out. And again, like all these things, you do this a few times in successive days, and you'll be amazed how quickly it starts to feel better. You can give your calves a bit of a massage here as well if you're doing running to stop those getting tired. So basically either side of this shin bone here, where you've got different muscles attaching onto it, just work into that border there, and that is very effective. So one more stretch that you can do for that is just to gently stretch out these muscles here, and as long as your knees allow, you can come and just, if I do this sideways on, just sit on your feet and stretch this muscle here. So have your feet with your toes tucked under, and if you want to take it back a little bit more, you can bring your arms behind and you can just support. Sometimes you get a nice stretch through the quad here, which again is also important to keep those stretched out to stop any pain coming in the knee or help protect the knees. But if you've got shin splints, you'll probably find you're getting actually quite a nice stretch there. So try that out and just go at whatever level you can, and you can just keep coming back. So keep that knee down, keep the front of the shin down, and just lean back and get a good stretch there. So that's also very useful if you're getting any pain down the front of your shins. Actually, even try sitting like this, even if you're not getting typical shin splints. And if you're very tight, then you'll find that very useful. I'm now going to show you a stronger way of stretching your calves, which you do on some stairs or on a step. So if you find that all the stretches that we've talked about so far aren't giving you a strong enough stretch anymore, then try this one out. So come to standing on your step or the bottom of your stairs and have one foot. I'm going to stretch my left calf now. So I'm going to have my right foot on the step, not half on, half off, but completely on. And I've now on the ball of my left foot, and I'm dropping my left heel. So I'm keeping my left leg straight, and this gets the big fleshy calf muscle that you can see. And for this, you'd need to have a straight leg. There is another calf muscle that lies underneath this that you also need to stretch. So just you need to hold the straight leg stretch for between 20 and 30 seconds. And then to get this stretch of the calf muscle that lies underneath, I've got my right knee bent and I don't do anything with my right knee. I keep my left heel dropped and I just simply bend my left knee a bit and just lower myself down as if I'm sitting towards my left heel. And it gets the Achilles a lot more, so you'll feel a much lower stretch, a stretch lower down in the leg. And you want to hold this. Now sometimes if you're very tight, you might find that you can only hold this for about 20 seconds. And then as you get a bit stronger, you'll gradually be able to increase it. So this is getting the underneath calf muscle, and it will get it slightly lower down. Because the two calf muscles, their tendons join to form the Achilles tendon. So it's no good just stretching one calf muscle to affect the Achilles, you need to stretch both of them. So let me recap very quickly. The first one is the heel down and a straight leg. The second one is just by simply bending my left knee and sitting towards my left heel. And then I'm getting both that way, and you'll feel the stretch in slightly different places. So those are some stronger stretches you can do for your calves, which you just need some stairs or a step, or if you've done a run, you can do it on the edge of a curb. If you find them too strong, then go back to some of the other stretches we've covered against a wall or a door. But if you're not getting enough of a stretch, then try these. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. And if you have any particular comments or feedback that you'd like to give me, I'd love to hear from you. So just make them on my website. And thank you very much for watching.